parts of that cafe linked to the serial killer Fred West. And it's thought that there is enough evidence, they say, for that excavation, a full excavation, to begin. So we'll bring you any further news as we get it.
We will. 7:46. Sally's here, and there's one topic of conversation which is high on the list, isn't there, for you in sport today?
Just that time of year, isn't it?
Thank you very much, Carol. Thank you.
Enjoying the scenery behind Carol's story.
I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better day, could we?
We've timed it very well, haven't we?
Have you been up there in the pouring rain? I have.
I have, yes. You can't see a thing. Just struggling to
It's
see the
very
House of
dramatic,
Parliament.
but not the same. So human contact and interaction were part of day-to-day life. Remember that? That pre-pandemic world? But after months of being isolated from family and friends, there's something many of us will never take for granted again.
As sleepovers, larger social gatherings and hugs are now allowed for those who want to do that, some long-awaited reunions are taking place. Here's our very own Jane McCubbin. It's like it's been such a long time, isn't it?
Such a long time, hasn't it? Gosh. Anyway, headlines will be coming up in just a moment.
We're just...
Louise Minchin and Dan Walker.
Headlines for you at 8 o'clock at night. Morning to you. It's a Tuesday, the 18th of May. Ministers are stepping up calls for people to book a coronavirus vaccination as soon as they're offered one, amid increasing concern over the Indian variant.
It's now spread to 86 local councils with more than 2,000 confirmed cases across the UK. And this comes as lockdown restrictions were eased in most of Britain yesterday to allow more social mixing.
Let's talk about this more with our chief political correspondent, Adam Fleming. It was a big moment yesterday, but again, we talked about it, didn't that kind of caution that everybody's been told about?
Yeah. Now, police in Gloucester are saying there's enough evidence to begin excavation work at a cafe as they search for the body of a suspected victim of the serial killer Fred West.
Officers are investigating the disappearance of 15-year-old Mary Bastholm, who worked at the cafe before she went missing in 1968.
Let's speak to our reporter Andrew Plant, who's at the
March down from 4.9% before. That's according to the latest figures released by the Office for National Statistics this morning. They say that...
Well, Harry and Meghan both feature in that film, which is a... For the first time, legally binding targets in England will be set to try to halt the decline of certain species by 2030. Our science correspondent Victoria Gill can explain. Down in Villamora at the moment, and she was talking about the fact that it's not particularly busy. What's the hotel like? How many people are there?
Very much, Gary, Georgina and Jack. Thank you. Bye.
Have a lovely holiday.
Bye.
I feel like we're almost having a sort of a bit of a holiday ourselves.
We've got. It's honestly
Living
this program today is packed with lovely views. Here comes another one. 20 past 8. Home to 250,000 plants. The UK's largest accessible walled garden. 100 better than I do. Yeah. In other news, a campaign asking businesses to do more to improve inclusion for people with disabilities has finally met its goal just after 2 years of hard work.
Yeah, it's brilliant news, and Nina is talking about it this morning. Good morning.
I am. Good morning to you. That's right. Now,
And I think as well as people have been watching TV, a lot of people have been reading books, and also, which is perfect for your programme, talking about them to other people.
yeah, and it's been
What kind of books do you like?
not creepy, right? I wish I could read. Right, it's a ham.
I wanted to ask you about, because we heard from Helen Glover, who's basically fitting in her exercise around her children, around her life. So have you found yourself having to read at all times while you're doing loads of other stuff?
So lovely to see you both. Bye.
See you later,
The next episode of Between the Covers will be on Monday evening, 7:30 on BBC Two, and you can catch up with the series so far on the iPlayer as well.
You're watching BBC Breakfast, I'm sure you know that. It is 8:59. Let's have a last look at some of the headlines for you this morning. And ministers are stepping up calls for people to book a coronavirus vaccination as soon as they're offered one. This is amid increasing concern over the Indian variant.
It's now spread to 8. President Biden has said the US is working to secure a ceasefire after more than a week of violence between Israel and Palestinian militants. 9 o'clock. 15 years after teenager Kian Prince was stabbed and killed outside his school in London, his dream of becoming a professional footballer is being realised through the help of technology.
Amazing story. His friends and family have worked with designers to turn Kian into a character in this year's FIFA computer game with the aim of discouraging young people from carrying knives. Breakfast Graham Satchell has the story. Very powerful issue, isn't it?
Very powerful,
Smart
very
Prince.
passionate. Absolutely. It's 9:05. Time for a last brief look at the headlines wherever you are today.
this to hunt on foot.
Yeah, with trophy hunters hitting the headlines in recent years, a photography project aims to challenge the perception of the word shooting and instead celebrate the animals through the lens of a camera. Let's have a look at some of the photos. To you, isn't it?
Morning, Dan and Louise. Yes.
Means an awful lot to you as well. And talking about the importance of language, you picked up on the word shooting there. The term Big Five, because we mentioned it in the introduction there. Tell us about the story about how that term sort of originated.
Now, they are absolutely incredible. It's not everybody, I suppose, who can get access to these creatures and be able to take the photos. Now, they are absolutely incredible. It's not everybody, I suppose, who can get access to these creatures and be able to take the